Musical time!
In the heel, so just embrace it. I hope you don't mind, but I bought my own backup. Ladies, tell the man what you need. From London to Milan, stilettos are in
But this time we're not looking at the other Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, Cats. No. We're looking at The Phantom of the Opera is there. I'm not good at singing. Don't. Yes, we're looking at the 2004 musical based Phantom of the Opera based on the Broadway show. The same name, which was based on Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical. I'm gonna give a little bit of detail before I go into say talking about the film and giving my little bit of relationship of this the property, I guess, the musical. I had seen the film adaptation in high school, or I think high school. So I had seen the film before I saw the show on Broadway. I saw the show on Broadway when I was in college. So, yeah. Growing up, I had seen many film adaptations of the Phantom of the Opera and all that, and they all have their different portrayals of the Phantom and all that.
Yes, let's have that drink. So, your bumbling was the work of a ghost?
Nah, it was an accident.
But you blamed me.
However, one thing that makes this one different is that, yes, this one is an adaptation of the musical, which is also based on the Gaston Leroux's La Phantom of the Opera. So, the film had been announced in 1998. The production did not start until 2002 due to Andrew Lloyd Webber's divorce and Joel Schumacher, who had a very busy career at the time. It was shot entirely at Pinewood Studios with scenery created with miniatures and computer graphics. So Emily Rossum, as well as Patrick Wilson and Minnie Driver, all had singing experience, but our lead for the Phantom, in this case Gerard Butler, had none and was provided with music lessons prior to filming.
Insolent boy, this slave of fashion, basking in your glory. Ignorant fool, this brave young suitor, sharing in my triumph.
But what is the story of the show about? And also, the film? Well, it tells the tragic story of beautiful soprano Christine Daae, who becomes the obsession of a mysterious and disfigured musical genius living in the subterranean labyrinth beneath the Paris Opera House. So, since this film is, a film adaptation, one thing that the film does compared to the Broadway show is in that at the beginning of the Broadway show, there are moments say, okay, now here we have a auction, which then opens up the show. We have that as well in the film, where we have an older Raoul, and basically that is how the film eventually transitions to the past on how everything got to the point. And I will say one thing I just felt like saying, I thought, like, say, some sequences in which, like, we're going back to, talk, like, have moments with, like, say, older role, and then, like, have him, like, say, I remember this jewelry place, that's where I got Christine some jewelry, or I remember us when we went to this place, and all that. I feel like some of those sequences didn't really need to be there, but at the same time, I can understand why, in that it helps with the ending of the story, in a way. And one thing, like, say, when I first saw this film as well, I think the cinematography and as well as the production of this film, like the scenic designs and all that, it all really holds up, even especially years later. One of the moments where I feel like say, wow, is the opening sequence in which the chandelier is brought up, and then it transitions from, like, say, everything in disrepair to as well as great as it looked when it was still open. And another, like, moment where I thought, okay, like, say, I like the fact they did this a little bit, but then again, I'm gonna be honest and say it's been quite a long time since I saw the Broadway show, so my memory bit of, like, say, okay, like, was there moments in which, like, say, when the Phantom is guiding her to where his lair is at, and, like, there are folks that have, like, say, candelabras, hands that are, like, leading to that are
In dreams he came, that voice which calls to me.
like enlightening the hallways and all that. And I also didn't realize this. Like, say, yes, in a lot of adaptations of the story, the Phantom, in a way, yes, like a bit of he has a bit of an obsession with Christine or whoever is the romantic lead of the film or story. And for this one, I didn't realize it, like, say, like, especially from a modern context, especially nowadays, like, yeah, like, you don't really realize it, at least didn't, in that, like, yes, the Phantom, he is, like, the entire time, like, say, in the film, like, yes, when him and Christine first met, and he's, like, seducing her to, like, say, with his beautiful singing voice.
Say you want me with you here beside you.
How, like, basically say, okay, he's in a way, yes, like, say, like, whenever he's just, like, say, all I ask of you, basically trying to say almost a form of manipulation way. Well, at the same time, like, so is at first, both her, so is Raoul at first, in that, like, it's been quite a few years since they seen each other, and they were both, like, childhood friends. One thing that I will say to this is I think that that Minnie Driver, she does a, like, a very, seems to be having a lot of fun as the character of the
Signora, these things do happen.
For the past 3 years, these things do happen. And did you stop them from happening? No. And you too, you're as bad as him. These things do happen, until you stop these things from happening, this thing does not happen. Orlando, andiamo!
Is the character of the prima donna in this case, Carlette. I think she does great. The costumings, like say, they get an A+ for me, mostly because, like say, I took a like stage costuming in college, and I was just like say, okay, that become a gay area of like say, in theater that I really loved, along with lighting and makeup as well. The I will say that I will say this that like the thing made me think okay. The thing that I really kind of enjoy though is in that like say ever so often the film will have moments of like say um a little bit of that sense of horror, like when the Phantom is trying to like say like you did not listen to me and all that. Now you shall pay for your insolence and all that. The and then like say at one point like like during the masquerade scene, um
Here I bring the finished score. Don Juan triumphant.
I do have to say that I think the costume designer for this film, I think he or she did a great job. But I will say that I kind of think that um the Phantom's like uh red outfit, I think like yes, it looks great, but at the same time, I just wish like say it had his cloak. I wish it was a little bit bigger. Anyway, but that's just one thing, like a bit of a nitpick I have. And I've like I've seen the like fonts like say oh the the reveal, because one thing that's always been like say integral to the story of the Phantom of the Opera is the face reveal, and I think for what they were going to do, which like yeah like his face is kind of a bit red and at the same time almost a little bit disformed.
That's all I ask of.
I do wish they had gone with what the Broadway show had done. I wish they had done a little bit of that makeup, but at the same time, like like taking like say some cues from it and added a little bit more to it. I was like when I was watching this, and it made me think like say, so how do they are they able to like go like say okay, because for the entire time you don't realize it that like his hair is just a mess. So as soon as she takes the mask off, it's like say oh, he's having a bad hair day, which does make you think like say okay, so does he have like like is it just a bad wig he's wearing or something like that? But yeah, I still think that the film adaptation, um, for what it did, it does a good job. And I also have the feeling like this in that the film would help, like say, okay, like it would give like folks that probably didn't know about this property, especially the musical, it would give more people like say, oh, well I've seen the movie, maybe I want to go see the show on Broadway, and all that. Well, sadly, the show's not on Broadway anymore. Yeah, but I'm gonna say this that I thought like say yes, this film is a little bit long, but at the same time, yes, I know that Gerard Butler was like say yes, his singing is just all right. At least I think so. But then I'm gonna say this: it's better than anything I could have done. But then again, like thinking of it this way though, at one time the role could have also gone to Hugh Jackman, but he was busy with the film Van Helsing. he, he That may could have been our Phantom. I'll see you next time.